A few weeks ago, I saw an article on WFMZ's website depicting the murals on the side of my business, among others. After reading the article, I couldn't help but feel insulted. Fortunately, last week a gentleman wandered into my shop and handed me an invitation to this meeting, promising the opportunity to educate neighborhood members about this mural art. So here I am. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of my presentation, I want everyone to know that this is about honesty. In order for me to ask this membership to be honest with themselves and each other, I think it's important for me to first be honest with all of you. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jeff DiVittorio. I use the alias Split in my artwork and as a stage name when performing and recording hip-hop music. I was born July 8th, 1986 in St. Luke's Hospital, Bethlehem, PA. I'm 28 years old. I was raised in the Lehigh Valley, primarily in Allentown. I attended Allentown schools, borrowed books from the Allentown library, walked the streets of Allentown my whole life. My private art education started in Allentown at the Baum School in 3rd grade. My apprenticeship under Allentown tattoo artist started at age 19 on 12th and Tillman. My criminal record includes felony counts of marijuana possession and burglary, along with several misdemeanors. I dropped out of high school and earned my GED in state prison. I've been to rehab at the Keenan House in Allentown. Currently, I'm over a year sober. I own and operate Eastside Tattoo, located at 2313 Union Boulevard, and I am responsible for one of the 2 murals on the sides of the building. I also co-own and operate a music and events promotion company called 6-1 Only. We are based in Allentown. I am the division leader of a worldwide organization based on positive outlets called Battle Axe. Our membership is over 5,000. We do various charities and benefits every year. Our most recent event raised $887 for the family of Jackson Reed, who was diagnosed with brain cancer at age 7. I've fallen down and picked myself up, all in Allentown. You will find it hard to convince me that anyone in this room loves my town more than I do. The narrow-mindedness of this association has made me uncomfortable, and now knowing a little bit about me, you can all imagine that's not an easy thing to do. I imagine that when I was sent an invitation to attend this meeting, it was expected that I would be subtle, undereducated, underprepared, shy, coy, or absent, of which I am none. Now, on to the subject at hand, the art. All of our beloved major cities on the East Coast boast a cultured art community. I was under the impression that Allentown, like Bethlehem before us and Philadelphia and New York before them, desired such a community. I and many of my peers support this with our whole hearts. All or most of you have in your hands printouts of 3 pieces of art. Allow me to describe them for you. First, you'll see a piece by an artist named Lanny Belosi. Lanny is 42 years old and boasts a license in nuclear medicine. The piece, along with all of her art, was painted with her menstrual blood. Lanny suffers from a condition that makes her periods particularly heavy and painful. She claims to have started painting with her flow not to make a statement, but to make the pain and trouble worth something in the end. Her first series of 13 paintings is held by a private collector in Washington, D.C., and is available for display at exhibits anywhere in the northeastern U.S. Second is a piece by Tim Patch, a.k.a. Picasso. Tim is a 65-year-old man who studied fine arts and furniture design in the UK. In 2005, he put down his paintbrush and began using his buttocks, scrotum, and penis to paint works of art. He is available for hire at private parties and commissions. His work has supported him financially for close to 10 years and has aided his travel across the globe. Finally, you're looking at the work of Millie Brown, a 27-year-old vegan from the UK. In 2005, she started vomiting on canvas. She has since refined her art by starving herself for 2 days prior to drinking dyed soy milk to regurgitate vibrant colors and sell her splattered creations. One of her works, Nexus Vomitus, which was done to an acoustic accompaniment of opera singers, recently sold for $2,400. Even more recently, she appeared in one of Lady Gaga's music videos, vomiting a neon stream onto the singer's dress. I doubt any of you listening to me right now would have guessed that the methods used to create these beautiful works of art was so unorthodox. I say all of that to say this. art is about freedom. Freedom is an intrinsic part of art. It is a prerequisite. The moment you bind the hands of an artist, he or she can no longer be identified as such. To question the motives of any of these artists or any artist anywhere in the world, or to tell them they are wrong, is to devalue not the art but your own intelligence. In reference to a particular medium or style that this membership is so fond of attacking, I have another set of artists with whom I'd like you all to get familiar. The following street artists are some of the most successful artists of any medium currently being explored. Banksy is a London-based graffiti artist. He has several books published and for sale worldwide. His stencil on canvas piece titled Bird with Grenade reportedly sold for £145,000. That's close to $250,000. Shepard Fairey was arrested numerous times in New York City for graffiti before he was commissioned by the city to paint a mural at the York Street F-stop station. His viral Obey works have evolved into a successful clothing line, and his Hope poster design for Obama's 2008 election campaign is now hanging in Washington, D.C.'s National Portrait Gallery. Marcus Lewis, aka Retina. His original artwork pieces regularly auction for anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000. He's been referenced in Forbes magazine in the same breath as recording artist Usher, who commissioned a portrait of Marvin Gaye from Retina. In 2013, he teamed with high-end clothing company Louis Vuitton for artist edition scarves. And finally, David Cho. The LA graffiti artist was commissioned by Facebook to paint murals in the company's offices in Palo Alto. Paid in company stock based on a $53 per share agreement with the social media giant, Cho received 3.77 million shares and raked in something to the tune of $200 million. Amazon.com lists over 20 graffiti books as its bestsellers, including titles like The Art of Urban Sketching, World Atlas of Street Art and Graffiti, Calligraffiti, Outdoor Gallery New York City, and The History of American Graffiti. The website also has an entire category of publications dedicated to graffiti and street art. So in closing, I believe that neither I nor any other artist favoring aerosol or any other medium who creates public works that are neither offensive nor illegal owes an explanation to this or any other committee. It is not surprising to me that some of the art of my time is not received well by other generations wishing to preserve a level of integrity in the community. What is surprising to me is that nobody has done the research. The accusations made by this association were ones made out of fear. You fear what you don't understand. And if after listening to me you still don't understand, that's okay. But I told you at the beginning this was about honesty. So now I want you all to decide if art is honestly something you want to fear.
Could I say something about that?
You certainly may.
The art is great. You're right to do the art. I appreciate art too. But people have to get permission to put it on the side of the building. Like they did on Fifth Street, on the back of the theater up there. That's art. Down at the Clementi School, they have paintings there. That's art. But they had permission to do it.
So did I.
This is people that are going against you and making it look bad for you. It isn't you that's the artist being bad. It's the people that are doing it just on their own. And
I agree.
They're not getting permission from the owner to do it.
But the issue is, my art was used as an example.
Well, that's okay.
No, it's not. Because the example you're trying to make is not one that I'm for. You understand?
There's a house on Jerome Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was burned in a fire. The woman was smoking and it burned. And they they take care of the house perfect.
Right.
They have a white front there to close the windows because the woman had no insurance. Somebody came up there and scribbled all over the white part. That's graffiti. Not what you're talking about. You're talking about art. Art is art.
Well,
but graffiti is graffiti. And there was no permission to do it.
I don't think that you are very clear on the boundary there, because what's on the side of my building is both graffiti and art, and I did it. Okay?
Well, you
I-
gave yourself permission. The other
Correct.
buildings
And I'm
didn't
not
get
saying
permission.
that, I'm not saying that the example you cited, and I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands of others, are something that I want to defend. What I'm saying is, don't use me as an example
We're not.
to trap. That's not true. That's not true.
We're not
He
blaming
just
you.
said he took pictures of my building to
Oh,
the
yeah,
city
yeah.
council to use as an example against that kind of
I know
art.
your
Of
building.
derogatory art.
Well, it's not my building, my business. And I had permission to do the artwork from the owner of the building.
Well, that's
Clarify.
Now, you said one thing,
Yeah,
you had permission.
correct. So why are you
Other
using
ones
my
don't have
artwork
permission.
as example?
What about the people?
Okay,
making
so
you
take
look bad?
pictures of them.
Whoa. To clarify, sir.
I'm being interrupted
We're not
over and
against
over.
you. We're against the ones that do it illegally.
Okay,
Yeah.
my issue is that you are using legal, non-offensive, and with permission art to bash stuff that you should reasonably be bashing. I'm not defending illegal art. I'm defending my art. I'm defending Amin, right? I'm defending Amin's art that he had commissioned and paid to put there.
Right,
That the
but you're
news
an
came.
artist.
Right.
The other ones aren't, they take the spray cans and go.
So attack them.
Jerome,
They-
Jerome,
they're
we're
against
getting,
you.
Jerome, you're going
One round,
off.
sir.
The thing is, we gotta establish how it came to this group. It came to this group through a businessman on Union Boulevard. And he brought this up, and it was discussed. And he was the one that brought the photographs to us. We didn't take any photographs.
Okay.
No, but, in all fairness to this gentleman here, and, maybe I should, explain my role in this, is as we were discussing last week, we were kind of wandering all around the barn, as meetings sometimes do, and I said, okay, well, let's draw things together here, what exactly are we saying? And, my own big mouth got me in trouble, because the gent was sitting right across from me, so I think that you're the person to speak to city council. So I was kind of elected. My one regret, to be perfectly honest with you, having listened to you, is that we did not, basically go to the people that, own the building and say, what's your side of the story, or at least inform you that we were going to bring this up to council. That was a mistake on our part, for which I think, I personally will apologize. I can't really speak for the
Apology
organization.
accepted.
Yeah, I can't speak for the organization. But on the other hand, I think our fear, if we had any fear, that if I had any fear, was not of art, but that many people perceive this sort of art as suggesting a declining community, suggesting a bad neighborhood. I don't think that's an unfair remark to say that it is so perceived. You may certainly.
I
Disagree.
can see the standpoint.
Yeah,
I'll
and-
agree with that.
Right, and as a consequence, the person who came to us who said, and I have no idea who the business was, the person he was referring to, said that, that apparently some customers have, expressed some concern, have not wanted to, come to the location, have felt that this was, declining, and as such, basically felt that there needed to be a process to, basically approve, disapprove. And I understand your point about, that being, as frankly the city does as well, because, as I said at the meeting, they said, well, it's really a First Amendment issue as to, what you can do, in fact, what the officer said, was you really can't say, that art we like, that art we don't like, and therefore, we're drawing a line.
Right.
The one thing I would object to, that you said, is I don't know that I consider myself narrow-minded in having that concern. But of course, you were thinking that we were objecting to the art itself, not the perception. And to be honest with you, I really don't know, here once again, I should probably shut up on ahead, but I don't know that, I think there's a line, I think there's a range, let's put it that way, between people that are utterly narrow-minded and a person taking the position that it's utterly normal to paint which one's scrotum and scrotum buttocks and penis, whatever. I think there has.
I'll agree with you.
I think one can say, that's kind of ridiculous without being narrow-minded. Is that fair?
I can agree with that. That is fair. And what I'll say to that is, I don't think anybody would have guessed. I'm saying that art is not something that people have to understand. Me, as an artist, I do my art for me. If people love it, great. That's awesome. If they don't, frankly, I don't particularly care. Public art is a bit of a different matter, and I'll agree with you completely. You, of course, don't want to offend, and you, of course, don't want to devalue property or
Right.
you know, the neighborhood shouldn't suffer because of public art.
And that was our concern.
Okay, that said, there is obviously, whether it's the fault of this committee, the next committee, tomorrow's committee, somewhere there is an issue of miseducation. And it's a very clear line in my eyes, and maybe not in everybody's, the difference between street art, graffiti art, and gang-related vandalism. And I think what upset me so much was that you're using art to illustrate a point against vandalism. And that's not cool with me.
You know, and as I
You know what I
understand
mean?
it, where you're drawing the line is not necessarily on the appearance of the art itself, but on the methodology whereby it was applied. Maybe I'm putting that poorly.
Not
But,
sort of. I mean, I think you're close. I think you're close. And I mean, you could go on Google on your phone right now and look up gang graffiti. Hold that next to my picture. Hold that next to the picture of Amon's, and the similarities are almost non-existent. It seemed to me that what's being attacked is a term. You're attacking the term graffiti. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's because a paint can was used and not a paintbrush. I don't see an issue with the content, and I don't feel that you directly, addressed the content beside the concern that it may or may not contain gang affiliation, which you obviously have no proof of.
oh, no, and we didn't. I mean, the only thing I understand as far as gang related is, and I think this was confirmed on the thing on WFMZ TV last week, which incidentally I found out later they had asked me to appear on, but I was out of town that day. But as I understand, one of the pieces of art, and I have no idea if it's yours or another one, the artist has agreed to make some, in fact, I think it's on the,
Right.
on the automotive.
I'm
ones.
familiar. I'm familiar.
Going to make some, minor changes on the,
Right.
which fine.
And if I'm being totally honest, I didn't come here to, rouse a rabble.
Oh, no.
What I came here to do was illustrate some points. Do I think that, and I know the other artists. I'm not affiliated with them, but I know Max Mino, I know Enrock, I know the people who did the mural that you're referring to, and I think that that's good of them to agree to make the changes, even though there is no gang affiliation. I've watched the video, and there is no confirmation of any kind of gang affiliation with that artwork.
So where do we go from here, I suppose is what I'm asking you.
Let's educate. I'd be glad to help. Like, I just don't want to see art attacked in the name of anything.
I don't think
Question-
it's not being attacked, okay? What they want to do, my feeling is, they're not attacking art, they're attacking graffiti, okay? Now, granted, yours may not, please. Okay, yours may not be, but you have to realize the east side is an older generation, all right? You're bringing in something new that a lot of them don't understand, which is understandable, okay? But they're not attacking, but what they're saying is, if we don't get something in order now, okay? If we don't get an ordinance or something, the next person's gonna come in and say, well, let's do this or let's do that. or